Hello, welcome to the Turret of Pleasure, here in the Enchanted Kingdom of Hermione. I'm your host for today, Zip Gun, the Lord Chamberlain of the Enchanted Kingdom, and speaking to you from the Turret of Pleasure, where we do all of our listening to music and watching of ships sinking and that sort of thing. And today, on I Am That Sucker, I really am that sucker, my dear friend John Guliak, who many years ago sold me his copy of, what's it called again? Watching the Dark. 3 CD Richard Thompson thing of really cool stuff. I think that might have been 20 years ago he sold me that. Mentioned on Facebook that there was a Guardian review of the new Richard and Linda Thompson box. To which I replied, what Richard and Linda Thompson box? Well, here it is. UMG, the Faceless Monolith Corporation, has seen fit to release a box set entitled Hard Luck Stories. And this is essentially the entire story in records and recorded music of Richard and Linda Thompson together. And it is exquisite. Now, I paid $160 for this. 8 CDs. 8 CDs. 5 of them are albums with bonus tracks. Or, sorry, 6 of them are albums with bonus tracks. You get I Want to See the Bright Lights Tonight, Hokey Pokey, and Pour Down Like Silver, which were the 3 Island, I should say, releases, which I have already bought in deluxe, wonderful issues. So I've already, and of course, needless to say, I had all of these on vinyl as well. Okay, so this will be the 3rd time I have bought this music. Okay. The other 2 are the 2 records they made for Chrysalis. And these have been viewed as pretty much a mixed bag for years. This is my copy of First Light, Canadian pressing, Chrysalis, capital EMI. I don't think there's any sounds on this above 14,000 cycles. It's a real turd of a piece of record. And I remember being underwhelmed by this record. And then there's this one, and it didn't sell very well. They thought they could make them into the new Fleetwood Mac, perhaps. And then you have Sunny Vista, which is a great cover. And this record passed almost without notice. I love the picture on the back. And these 2 albums are after their kind of return from retreat, if you will. They spent a few years off immersing themselves in Sufi Muslimism. So I've got a lot of this stuff. Now you say, why would you pay $160 for 3 CDs you've already bought once already on CD, 2 LPs that admittedly have never come out on CD? Shoot Out the Lights is in here. There it is. I've even got the one with Living in Luxury, the B-side. This is the 1st edition. It was selling. Some people were selling this for big money. I don't know what they were thinking. Now, okay, the 3 Island albums are bare minimum A albums. A+, really. Shoot Out the Lights is an A+ record. The 2 Chrysalis records I remember not liking much. Subsequent re-listening to them, and they are remastered, of course, reveals that they're actually a lot better than I remember, especially Sunny Vista, which has a song on it called Civilization, which I swear sounds like Gentle Giant in the middle. The other 2 CDs on this are one is called Sometimes It Happens, bunch of odds and sods, very interesting, and a live CD called The Madness of Love, which I'm going to get to in a minute. Now I'm going to try and keep this quick, because there's a lot here. Like I say, this is the story of Richard and Linda. Comes with a beautiful book, hardcover book. Now, like all beautiful hardcover books that come with box sets, I am basically terrified to open this all the way because I just know the binding is going to collapse. It smells like a good book, you know, that smell. And you get pretty decent full shots of the album covers of each album in question. Pretty solid explanations of what's going on. The way they sort of list stuff in the sort of content player, what do you call it, table of contents that I look for a lot when I'm listening to a record, is way in the back here. And a lot of box sets do this. The Miles Davis ones do this. I wish this stuff was all in the front. You know, it's just because if you want to read about it and see who played bass on it, you're doing this a lot. So that could have been slightly better. Lots of photos I've never seen before, and lots of solid information. Now, if you know the story of Richard and Linda, and if you don't, I'll tell it to you quickly. Richard was in Fairport Convention. Linda was an aspiring singer doing even jingles, and they fell together through the Fairport Convention circle of friends. They met, they started working together, and they fell in love, and they married. And right about then, Richard became very much involved with Sufi Muslimism. So they both converted to Islam. And after the Pour Down Like Silver album, they retreated for a couple of years. Didn't really do much of anything. And then they came back and they did First Light, they did Sunny Vista, Shoot Out the Lights. The overt Islamism was pretty much gone by Shoot Out the Lights. Islam does inform many of Richard's lyrics. And there's a love song called Laila, which everybody goes, oh, it's the Eric Clapton song Layla. No, Laila is I forget where it's from, but it's a Muslim reference. Sometimes It Happens has 3 songs by The Bunch, which was a crazy group that was kind of Fairport Convention and Fotheringay and Sandy Denny and Richard Thompson and that whole crowd getting together to do some rock and roll songs. It's really good fun. It sort of gets the box off on kind of a funny foot because it's a little bit frivolous, but it's good fun. That goes into a song called Amazon Queen, unreleased song from the Henry the Human Fly record, which I have here. And next time you see John Guliak perform, tell him you want to hear the old ditching boy, I think it's called. The Poor Ditching Boy. Because he does a wonderful version of it. I hadn't even thought about that song for 20 years. When John waltzed into David P. Smith's music room and played it, this record is actually great. It has the distinction of apparently, up to that point, being the worst selling record in the history of reprise records, which makes me sad because years ago, in a Victoria record store known as the Record Gallery, run by a very cranky rugby player, I saw a copy of that on reprise, sealed with a little promo leaflet inside the shrink wrap, and I should have bought it, and I didn't. I waited until I got an English copy, but anyways. So yeah, you've got Amazon Queen, Shaky Nancy is from that album, The Angels Took My Resource Away is from that album. They're different versions, I think, I'm not sure. There's 2 songs by a guy named Brian, what's his name? Brian Patton? Brian Patton, a poet who Richard helped put a record together of his poetry. Richard wrote a couple of songs to the poetry that Linda sings. They're interesting. They don't sound much like Richard. Also, there's 2 songs from a musical that never happened, Restless Boy and The World is a Wonderful Place. Again, a musical that I think Linda got involved in that apparently never happened. And Richard contributed these 2 songs that, again, don't sound very much like Richard. There's also a song called Sometimes It Happens, where it was a demo that Martin Carthy plays guitar on, and that Linda sings on, but that Richard wrote. Interesting, cute. A couple of live tracks at the end, Shady Lies, and especially Napoleon's Dream. Richard and Linda a cappella, really, really good. Okay, then you have I Want to See the Bright Lights Tonight. I don't need to tell you much about this other than it's an A-plus record. If you don't own it and you like singer or songwriter type music, you just don't know what you're missing. For those of us who think it's an A-plus record, there's a song called Mother and Son that I've never heard of that is an outtake from this session. Hallelujah. There's a demo of Down with the Drunkard's Roll. There's a demo of A Heart Needs a Home. There's a live version of The Great Valerio. And there's an alternate take, I think it's just an alternate vocal take, of The End of the Rainbow, Linda singing instead of Richard. I'll tell you what, it made me cry. The Richards version is great, but the song, which is essentially a song to a newborn about how there is no hope in life, it just kills you when it's sung by the mom. It's just something else. Anyways, an old softy is what I am. Next disc is Hokey Pokey with 2 live tracks. The live tracks are sort of okay. Didn't really need that. The next disc is Pour Down Like Silver. This features a song called Wanted Man and a song called Last Chance, neither of which I've ever heard of. I believe they were outtakes from this album. And then there's 3 live tracks, and I am pretty sure, and I'm going to check this now, there's a version of Cavalry Cross. Where is this from? Oh, come on. It'll be me. Oxford Polytech, November 27th, 1975. Yes, okay. So this is, in fact, the two of these 3 songs are on the bonus tracks here are from this strange record called Guitar Vocals, which features a bunch of stuff on it. There's still, I can't give this away because there's still a couple of songs on here that aren't available anywhere else, and they are charming. But you have A Heart Needs a Home, which has appeared a whole bunch of times now. It'll Be Me, which I think I've now got for the 4th time. Dark End of the Street. Yeah, anyway, this takes in some of that. And it's also bits of that scattered other places. Okay, the next disc, The Madness of Love, live. Now, this never came out before. 2 concerts. The first 6 songs are essentially Richard and Linda solo, 1975, just before they kind of retreated. And the next 5 songs are immediately after. And they are with a band that's never been documented of fellow Sufi Muslims. And there are 3 song titles out of the 5 that have never appeared in Thompson's biography before. The Madness of Love is the title, they named this CD after it, is a really good rockin' power, long, guitar workout song. As good as anything he did. There's a great version of Night Comes In with Linda singing, where there's a good rave up on the guitar, about 12-minute version. There's a song called A Bird in God's Garden, which is kind of like Can. The band in this has an electric piano. It's a Wurlitzer player, who's a guy that also played on the Bunch album. And so it's one of the few Thompson bands that has no accordion. Instead, it has an electric piano. And it really changes the timbre of everything in his band. Then there's a song called The King of Love, which really sounds like Midnight Hour to me. But it's good. And again, they pull it off. And they do an early version of Lila, which on the First Light version is much more rockin'. This is a little more sedate, but all 5 of these songs, Richard sounds like he's having a ball. He hadn't played his electric guitar for quite a while, and it sounds like he's really enjoying himself. This is worth buying the box for if you're a nut like me. These 5 songs, I kid you not. Next disc is First Light. It sounds a million times better than the LP. Vinyl fans, I give up on you people. It has a song called Drunk as a demo. A really good song called The Dust of Your Road. Again, these are titles nobody's ever heard before. Now, I make a big deal out of this because Thompson is a big deal. Thompson is like Bob Dylan in my world. And if you don't agree with me, we'll have to sit down over beers. Because this is not only, this box is the core of his work. This is the best stuff. You could have nothing but this and not be missing too terribly much that you'd really need to hear. Sunny Vista, like I said, Civilization sounds like Gentle Giant. Um, Lucky in Life, Speechless Child, Traces of My Love. These are all songs that never appeared. And then there's a famous session, somebody called it Rafferty's Folly, where Jerry Rafferty offered to pay for the studio time to do a new album, which is the album that ended up being Shoot Out the Lights. And Rafferty really wanted to produce it. So they produced it, but Rafferty produced records the way Fleetwood Mac produced records. And Thompson and he clashed over the production. The Thompsons, of course, were, Sufi Muslims who neither drank nor smoked or did drugs, and Jerry Rafferty liked a drink, as they say. So there was conflict, and ultimately they didn't do anything with it. But there's Backstreet Slide, The Wrong Heartbeat, For Shame of Doing Wrong, and what were the other ones? There's a couple of others on these are split between the last two. Walking on a Wire, that's the other one, and I'm a Dreamer. So those are the bonus tracks for Sunny Vista. Sunny Vista's got the one, Justice in the Streets is the one song where Richard actually says Allah a lot in a song. So he managed to keep that to a relative minimum during this most intense of his Sufi Muslim years, I must say. And then there's Shoot Out the Lights, which everybody who knows anything about it knows what an amazing record it is. It was kind of the record that broke them, so of course then they divorced, and that was kind of that. It has the unreleased B-side Living in Luxury, which is a really great song. It has the aforementioned Rafferty songs, has a couple of live tracks, and that's it. Bang! They returned to England separately, and they went on to greater things, bigger and better things, each of them. Linda signed with Warner Brothers and did this record, which is a bit of an unsung record. Christgau kind of gave it faint praise by saying that it was the best sounding Carly Simon record he'd heard in years. And that's not a terrible description of it, but it's actually a very solid adult rock record perhaps from a woman's viewpoint. And then after that, she went silent. She had, what was the name of the Dysphonia, I believe it's called. And it was a thing where she couldn't sing. And in fact, on some of these demos on this, you can hear it encroaching on her singing. And it's very sad to hear because she's got such an amazing voice. And you can hear it's kind of constricting her voice almost. And she did not do anything until the 2000s. And I found this in the thrift store, fashionably late. This is her sort of big comeback on Rounder. It's wonderful. The good news about this whole sort of saga is that although they divorced, and they did do a final tour together once they had decided to divorce, which was legendary in its awfulness for behavior of some people, but it was also, they backed up REM, and it was like they had to do it kind of thing or they'd have no career. So they did it, and then they parted, and they have remained friends. Their son, Teddy Thompson, whose CD I also found in the thrift store, and this is a darn good CD. This was his first. He has made many now. And he also produced a group that I think he just called Thompson, which is Dad and Mom and him and his sister. I haven't heard it, but I can't imagine it's not good. And Richard, of course, went on to, from strength to strength to strength. After Shoot Out the Lights, he did Hand of Kindness. He did, look at this, is all my Richard Thompson. And I'm a fan, but this isn't this probably isn't a quarter of what he's done. The man just doesn't make bad records. And a bunch of these I found, like Sweet Warrior. Found this in the thrift store. This is a song on it called Guns of the Tongues. Second to last song on the CD. Now that's traditionally where you put the dog songs. I have another song that just makes you want to cry. He did a really cool thing with Danny Thompson, no relation, great bassist who played with Pentangle John Martin. And this duo record he did with him is really cool, really uh, uh, you know, quirky. He also did this. This came out a few years back. Concert 1975. Now this, I think, also is on that guitar and vocal. So anyway, so this now, this is all the good stuff. The bad stuff was I found out about this on November the 11th, and by the time I went to order it, it was already out of print. Now the article that Mr. Guliak showed me was from the Guardian, September the 12th or something. So in the month it took for me to find out about this, it had gone out of print. Well, so I went scrambling around, finally found one for I think it was $160, which to me is not outrageous for really good stuff because it's $20 a disc. Okay, and $20 a disc, great. But then when I ordered it, I started looking for reviews, and to my horror, everywhere people were complaining that the discs didn't play, the discs didn't rip, and I was like, uh-oh. Mercifully, mine all work, and they all rip. Sometimes they make funny noises. This is how they package them. Not ideal in my world. I would have liked something that, like envelopes or something, would have been nice. It's not terrible, but again, you get the UMC. I say it's like the 2001 monolith on its side, and somebody's spray painted it, somebody's tagged it. You got the great book. And yes, it plays, but it's now officially out of print. And, you make you wonder, they went to a lot of trouble. This book is really good. It's very sympathetic from both viewpoints. Very, they skirt a very fine line. Don't take sides, which is great because, they're, like in many cases, there's no real right or wrong in the story. But they've gone to all this trouble, and then they've made it so it's barely available at all. It only came out, I think, on Universal UK. Now, historically, these guys never sold records. Apparently, the Chrysalis records sold 10,000 each. The Island records sold 10,000 each. But I'll tell you what, everywhere they played, there was a 24-track recording rig because there's zillions of recordings of them live. And, the critics love these people. So I don't know why they don't just make double the number of these box sets so that it's available so people can buy it. And maybe they'd even make money. I can't imagine they're going to make any money off of this, which, of course, is the whole reason UMC exists. They could care less about Richard and Linda Thompson. So it's perplexing. I'd love to know the mechanics of the money behind it all, because it was a frustrating experience finding this, scrambling to buy it before it became an instant collector's item, which drives me nuts. Anyways, I'm happy to have found it. I'm happy to have paid $160 for it. And should you be privileged enough to find a copy for anything reasonable, I would say you can do no wrong by buying it, because it's as good a box set of music as you'll find anywhere. So there you have it. Thank you, John Guliak, for alerting me to this. It cost me money, but you know how it goes. Thanks for watching, and we will see what else we can come up with. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the old notification button. Wear your mask. Be kind to everybody. Stay away from everybody for the time being. We'll all get together when this blows over. Once everybody has a vaccine and we can go get back to normal. So take care of each other. Stay safe. We'll talk to you later.